I mean, we all know the gray aliens, of course, and those, to me, I feel like there's been the most evidence of those. Those are always the ones that are associated with the tangible crashes. Tangible Roswell crash. There were actually there are other crash files that you can seek out online.
So they're not great pilots.
Right. or there are just so many of them. But there is a theory about these grays is that they are, maybe the reason they're not the best pilots is because maybe they are engineered or are bioengineered by another species of alien that maybe would be a better pilot, and that the gray aliens are actually in smaller craft that might come from larger craft and other ET species, namely the reptilian. That's the lore online. So that gets really convoluted when you start to think of it that way. There's people that think they're gray, just actual gray alien species, and that they've actually cloned themselves or made, robot versions of themselves. So you get really dizzy really quick. But if you think of how complex our society is, and how many different maybe not species of humans these days, but how many variety there is to us, is it really that strange, to think of it that way? So that would definitely be the most front and center, the gray alien, just because they're so often described by witnesses. So it's really hard to discount that. The other, I have not seen quite as much documentation of the reptilians, which is a little comforting because they do have a negative connotation. I guess it goes back to biblical times, the tempting snake, or the scary, maybe even the scary fire-breathing dragon. So it's a much more, the reptilian serpent, it's a much more negative reputation that they have compared to other rumored species of aliens like the humanoids and the grays. So
are there particular ships that relate to particular species?
So I think because we have so many, there are, like I said, there's different crash. You guys can go research different UFO crashes, and they're often associated with the saucers and the grays. So that there definitely seems to be, the grays seem to pilot the classic flying saucer that we imagine in our heads stereotypically as a UFO. And then again, the reptilians seem to be associated with more negative, kind of scary big craft, like the triangles and the even long cigar-shaped craft. I've read some links to that. So, could it be possible that there's some really big ship with a reptilian in it, and they're sending out little, smaller ships,
little pods with
right? Because Roswell, right, was actually pods,
right? It was like a two-man ship, maybe. Was it two or two-man ship? Two aliens.
The story's changed over the years, with Roswell. So that one's hard to grasp these days after all the years
of the mixing. And
there's so many different. It's really funny. With all these cases, you'll see there's like 20 different debunkings of Roswell. Like Popular Science, has written probably like 5 different theories.
It's a weather balloon.
Yeah, pick one. Yeah. But there's more than that. I mean, people talk about the blue avians, which
we're gonna get into some blue avians.
I mean, there's I would imagine that they are not flying your typical like saucers and triangles. They're just dematerializing, or in some mystical orb like UFO would be my thoughts on those.